Yo, what's up, guys? Jetxc here, and we have a patch coming up very soon. We've got patch, I think the patch time is later today, so we have Berga that's coming out along with a couple of new skins, and we have this new, basically, I guess, skin feature that they're going to start doing for costumes in the future, excuse me. So I'm going to be talking about that, and we'll be taking a look at Berga here. So this should be pretty interesting. Let's get into the patch notes. So we've got Berga. Now Berga kind of has like the Ulsa body type. So I know a lot of people have been waiting for her. So let's kind of get into her as a Vanguard. Let's talk about it. So she has a cost of 5. Let's see. And grade EX. And then her class, Husk Avenger, Husk Warrior, Husk Trait, Hikimori's Resilience, activates level 1 passive, Conservation of Momentum, gains stack of kinetic momentum for a certain number of rounds when using a combat skill at the start of your turn. If you have kinetic momentum effect, speed increases by a certain percent, basic attack, action point cost is reduced by a certain percent for that turn. At the start of your turn, if another Vanguard, excluding the human god, is within a certain meter, you're going to gain Comfort Zone Beach effect. And now what kinetic momentum is can stack up to a certain amount of times, and the stack is consumed with each basic attack. So that's how you build that kinetic momentum there. And then Comfort Zone Beach speed decreases by a certain percent. And remember, that is when there are certain Vanguards within a certain range within you. And you'll kind of learn to find out that with Berga, you kind of want to literally just jump into all the enemies. So it'll be pretty interesting to kind of see her being played. But yeah, we'll find out. So personal traits here, we're going to kind of skip that. I mean, she basically has some healing adjustments here, but we're going to talk more about it when I do a video, basically, trying her out. But let's get into her skills here. So swings the Tortoise to deal slash damage equal to a certain percent of melee attacks. We have the Husk Warrior. Giant's Leap active can only be used when HP is a certain percent or higher. Consumes a percentage of each ally's action points, excluding yourself, to activate, and reduces your current HP by a certain percent after use. Leaps towards the enemy and slams down with force. Deals crush damage equal to the percent of melee attack to the target on hit. Can only be used against the same target once per round. So a very interesting, costly kind of skill here, but it's actually, I really want to see how this works. I think this will be a pretty solid, once we get the numbers, this will be a pretty solid move. But yeah, the fact that she could jump into enemies, that's going to be pretty interesting. We also have here Adaptive Muscle. If HP is a certain percent or higher when attacking, your crit damage is increased. But if it's lower, your defense is increased by the same amount that you get if you were to have crit damage if your HP was higher than the amount, right? So it's interesting how she's got like a double-edged effect here. So if you've got that HP up, you will be getting extra crit damage. I'm wondering if like Nonoha would be a good. I feel like I use Nonoha for a lot of teams. I think she'd be good with her, honestly, if you're trying to keep your HP up. So we'll see. Blade Storm. After using this skill, action point recovery is reduced by a certain amount for a certain amount of rounds. Rushes forward while swinging the Tortoise. Charges a certain meter forward, dealing slash damage equal to melee attacks to all enemies within the radius along the path. And this skill won't trigger any weak point attacks and will temporarily increase accuracy by a certain percentage. So, interesting though that after using this skill, your action point recovery is reduced. Now, last little passive here, gain a certain stacks the Fire Within whenever an ally is hit. So when the Fire Within reaches max stacks, automatically respond with the skill Pent Up Wrath. While under the effect of Blood Rush, gain action points when ally is hit. So, what is the Fire Within? Increases magic attack increase magic attack by a certain percent per stack, up to end stacks. Pent Up Wrath. Unleash your fear to strengthen yourself. Grants purification upon activation. If action points is a certain number or less, restore the number and reset the cooldown of Blade Storm. Gain Blood Rush effect for end rounds. And then Blood Rush decreases your accuracy by a certain percent and physical defense by a certain number, and increases the melee attack overall, reduces Blade Storm action point cost, and resets its cooldown on use. When the Blood Rush ends, all stacks of the Fire Within are removed. So there's a lot going on with Berga here. Actually, I'm not really going to say anything until I try her, but it really seems like, in my opinion, I think you want to put like a bunch of, maybe like the Headless Knight, Nonoha, because if you use someone like Panthery, even though Panthery is very, very useful, if she's dodging a lot, I don't think it's a good idea, because you want some of your units to get hit, because you'll get that Fire Within stack. So I think you want Berga to be almost like a solo. I wouldn't say she's not necessarily a tank, I wouldn't say that just yet, but you definitely want her to go solo, and then you just kind of heal her. That's what I'm getting. Her and maybe one other person that could do damage, but other than that, I think you want like some defensive units around you, just to keep her alive, right? So she can keep her crit damage up versus her defense up. And then we've got this new weapon for her, the Crimson Veil Tortoise. Increases the slash boost damage by a certain percentage during combat. When hit by a weak point attack, all defense increases for the rest of the turn. After using a charge, leap, teleportation, or mobility skill, gain stacks of Wild Rush for a certain amount of rounds. While holding Wild Rush during your turn, slash boost is increased by a certain amount. Increased slash boost can stack up to a certain amount of times. Lose stacks at the end of your turn after attacking. Now, her signature, Mirror of the Wild, at the start of battle, gain certain stacks of Fire Within. At the start of your first turn, gain, what do we got here? A certain number of action points and increased speed by a certain percentage for that turn. When gaining Blood Rush effect, crit chance increased by an additional percentage for a number of rounds. Grants immunity to taunt, fear, wow, madness, sleep. Okay. So if remember the Fire Within, if we go back up, whenever an ally is hit, essentially, we're getting that stack early if you get the weapon. And it will increase magic attack by a certain number of percentage per stacks, up to a certain number of stacks, right? And then that'll kind of get into the Blood Rush stacks as well. And also, too, the magic percentage going up, that actually goes into her passive that heals her. So that's why the magic percentage is important in her whole skill kit here, even though she does slash damage. So it'll be interesting, guys. We'll see. She seems like a very kind of, maybe I wouldn't say complicated, but a very interesting unit overall. But so here's our new costume. We've got the cow print. I mean, classic costume for a lot of fucking big booba characters, but we have her cow bikini costume here. We have, this is, I've been waiting for this. So we have the costume for Keelan here, Bound by Loyalty. This will actually be the Season Pass costume, which is not surprising. Season Pass costume, so definitely I'm probably going to be getting it. Obviously, with the Season Pass, you'll be able to get copies of Keelan along with the costume and some level up material. The limited time skin will be available in the shop after a certain period of time following the Season Pass in. And then they're rerunning the Ulsa skin. Very nice. So this is the work memo. They're rerunning that. And then new affection for Berga. Can't play that, but I definitely advise you guys to go check it out on the Discord or YouTube. But yeah, that'll be added. Now, we've got Halloween Part 2 event, so make sure you're doing this Halloween event, guys, because Part 2, I think they'll be giving away another, like, EX ticket for doing the event and stuff like that. So this is a great time for you guys to, like, get as much event material as you can to help you just gain more EX tickets and level up material. And then we've got product packages, the typical stuff, special search schedule for Berga, limited time event. There's the pass. Now, here's a new feature that I want to talk to you guys about. So, they're going to slowly add this for costumes, but depending on the costume, right? And this is going to be for Ivana and Young Chae-young. This is going to be for Ivana's lingerie costume, and then Young Chae-young's I forgot what it's called. I'll probably put it in the comments, but here's the thing. So for this costume and Young Chae-young's costume, they will be adding basically like a boob slider. They've been working on this like for a very long time, right? And so it's a boob slider that basically you can reduce breast size or increase breast size, right? And they'll be slowly adding this. It's actually, they said it's very hard for them to do. So they'll like slowly add it to certain costumes. But what's going to happen is these costumes are going to increase in price, right? So before I tell you the price, let me tell you what it does. So they give you the default breast size of the character. I don't know if you can see it here, but this says 2. So that's her OG breast size. So you can reduce that, or you can make it bigger, right? And again, they'll do this for other characters in the future. And yeah, this will be like a new feature added to this costume. Now, when this change goes live, instead of 500 butterflies, the costume will be 850 butterflies. So, if you want to get this without having to pay the extra, then buy it before the patch basically goes live. You got a little bit more time, right? So, this is actually a pretty interesting feature. And it says it supports 6 levels of adjustment, allowing you to increase or decrease as desired. The body slider is activated only when you own a costume that includes the feature, and it will only apply when the costume is equipped. Once the body slider is active, it will appear in the following content. Basically all the content. Affection content, gameplay content, story content, and even the costume shop. So it'll apply everywhere. And yeah, that's really about it. So again, this will be a new feature that will slowly be added for characters. And again, 850 butterfly. If you guys want to get ahead of it, definitely buy the costume and you won't have to pay anything extra. Okay, and they said they will announce like which skins will be getting that change. So yeah, just keep that in mind. All right, that is about it. We've got some basic bug fixes and UI improvements. And yeah, so pretty exciting stuff. We'll see how things go. But yeah, I'm excited. I'll be pulling for Berga. I will be doing a video on pulls probably after my stream later today. I'll probably have to do like a separate video unless I'm up like really late, but we'll see. All right, guys, I am out of here. Later.